very special short edition of Two Shots. I am your host, Jason. My other host, Mike. We uh,
Hey,
we're gonna
hey.
do quick shout out, very special shout out to the belated birthday man.
Yeah, yep.
But I got a shot. I know you're not prepared. It's not for you. This is for me to you. So
Oh
happy
man.
birthday.
Oh, thank you, buddy. Yes, I am not prepared. We wanted to get through here, do a little bit of an impromptu talking about what I did for my birthday, which was I went and saw Machine Head at
Absolutely.
this little tiny venue called the Orpheum in Tampa, and it's kind of the new Orpheum because this place has been around forever. When I used to play in bands 20 years ago, I played at an old Orpheum version. So that was two versions ago. And this new one, for any of you, for any of our international subscribers that have ever been to Tampa, it's a real shitty kind of hole in the wall, similar to the Brass Mug. If you've ever heard of that place, it's a real hole in the wall that tends to attract actually semi big name bands, and it's really cool to see bands in these kind of places because you're literally like right there. You know, it's like
It was such a small venue.
very, very, very small. I was basically sitting at the bar, and I felt like I was like right next to the stage almost. Like it was really cool. So Machine Head, I think we got to talk about them. Let me give you guys a little bit of background on my experience with Machine Head. My first like foray into Machine Head, they were actually part of the first concert I ever saw. The first like real concert I saw when I was about 15 or 16 back in like 95, 96. And I saw them, Biohazard, and Slayer together on that tour. And I didn't know anything about Machine Head at the time. So I ended up checking them out, and I got I think it was like Burn My Eyes with like Davidian, like those like
Yes.
old ass songs. That's what I had listened to. And then like right around that time, I went to another concert, which was Megadeth, Fear Factory, Flotsam and Jetsam, and Korn. And I got so sucked into Fear Factory that I kind of forgot about Machine Head. Even though like it's not like they used to always group those two bands together, and I think they toured together a lot. But they don't sound a lot alike at all, really. Like
They sound nothing alike,
yeah,
and I think they linked them together because of the California connection they got.
okay. That I mean that kind of makes sense, but they're really not at all
No,
similar.
no,
But
no.
but I remember back then they always got grouped together, and I've no real reason why, if it was a California thing or if it was just like factory Machine Head, you know, like
Right, right.
subject
It
subject
would
matter.
make sense, but like because you look at Fear Factory
Yep.
being thrash, robotic thrash,
Yeah, with that.
and
Yep,
and Machine Head is just straight metal.
it's
Like,
straight.
they're-
Yeah, it's very
they're
straight metal.
clean.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So anyway, I spent most of my time following Fear Factory and some of the other bands. I didn't really give Machine Head a shot until I started talking to Jason, and Jason's like, "You're a giant piece of shit. What the hell? Why aren't you listening to Machine Head?" And I was like,
I've been screaming about Machine Head for years now.
well, and that was a good point. I was like, well, why the hell am I not listening to Machine Head? So I went and checked them out again, and they had that new album that just came out. I can't remember the name of it, but man, that album is a banger. It's so good, so good. And when I found out Machine Head was coming to town on my birthday, I told Jason about it. And he was like, "If you don't go to this concert, I'm going to kill you." And I was like, "Well, that's because I wasn't even real. They weren't really even on my radar." And then so I went to the concert, and they were awesome. They were totally awesome from start to finish. There were no opening bands. It was just Machine Head playing for like 3 hours, and
Oh,
it was really really cool. That was an awesome venue to see them at. Things of note. I always watch drummers, and what really pisses me off is when I can't see the drummer, and it was real hard to see the drummer, so that was annoying. Their drummer is fantastic, by the way. He's amazing. And at the Orpheum, the stage is like basically a 1 to 2 feet off the ground. Like
Oh, yeah,
it's
yeah.
almost like not a stage. It's almost like they're sitting in front of you. So the drum set in the back was like I couldn't even see the guy. There was like two sticks like up there. and which
You
pissed
just
me off.
did the double jerk off.
Yeah, it was just two. Fucking we get all these. For those of you that are watching this on YouTube, you can see what I just did.
It's fantastic.
So what I will say is that Rob Flynn, vocalist and guitar player,
Yes.
man, that guy is a monster. He is a beast. He's very charismatic. He works that crowd very, very well. There was essentially like mosh pits and crowd surfing like the whole time. It was a phenomenal show. I wish I was more familiar with their old stuff. I could give you a list of all the songs they played, but it was a 3-hour set, so I'm sure they played everything that you probably would have wanted them to play unless it was obscure. I know they played Davidian, and I know they played at least a few songs off
Hammer.
I'm sure. What Locust? What's the?
Into the Locust.
That
whole album was great.
Yep, it was a fantastic show, man. I'm so glad I went, and big shout out to Jason for calling me a bitch.
We're trying to finally open your horizon.
Yeah,
like
man.
I saw Machine Head back in 2013, which I've always known about Machine Head. Never like it was kind of like you. It was they're good, but they're on the back of my radar. When I saw them in concert in Tampa at the I guess it was at the Ford Amphitheater at the time.
Yep.
It was for that album, Into the Locust, and holy shit, the energy that comes from them, the cleanness of like seeing them live, even in a big venue like that,
Yeah.
everything was so clean, and I instantly became such a massive fan, not just a casual fan, a massive fan, and so like I would listen to their older stuff, and excuse me, much like Fear Factory, you know, you look at Demanufactured as like their breakout album.
Yeah,
their
yeah.
one of their best albums. I look at like Into the Locust as their maturity, like probably best album they've ever done. But you can go back to where Divinity was, or like 10 Ton Hammer. Or there's so many. I mean, they're on my playlist with like 5 different albums that are just almost every song. And this is what makes a great band. In my opinion, why Fear Factory is so great, why even Machine Head is so great, is that every song is awesome.
Yeah.
And so with your experience, like that 3 hours, you weren't really bored of any of their music, were you?
No, not even close. Like they had sucked me in like the whole time. It was fantastic. It was really
That's
fantastic.
awesome. I'm so glad to hear that.
I would give that like another comparison for me, from my perspective, is the Sepultura comparison, and I know we've talked about them a little bit. Sepultura, I listened to like Chaos AD, the first 3 or 4 with Dead Embryonic Cells, all like those old ass Sepultura. I was into them.
Bloody Roots,
Bloody Roots, the Max Cavalera era of Sepultura,
yes.
And I liked it, but it wasn't amazing to me. It was always another choice of kind of metal that was like okay. It was like yeah, it's like more metal. It was all right. And it's not that I wasn't a fan. I was definitely a fan. They were awesome, but not in my top 5. I wouldn't put them up there. But and I don't mean to knock them in any sort of way because they were awesome. But then later on, Sepultura, when they got Eloy Casagrande and they just put out that album Quadra, like probably 2019 or 2018 or something like that.
Oh yeah.
And I listened to them again. I was like, this might be one of the best bands I've ever heard in my life. Like what a resurrection that band had. And I don't know if Machine Head for me is kind of like that, because this last Machine Head album is one of the best albums I've heard. It's so good. The drums are insane on this last album, and like the vocals sound perfect. The guitar riffing is amazing, and I wonder if Machine Head for me is kind of doing what like Sepultura kind of did, and they stepped their game back up, or because I don't have experience with the middle tiers of Machine Head from anything really after Burn My Eyes. I didn't really digest, so I wonder. So now I have to go back and listen to more Machine Head and see if it kind of did what Sepultura did for me. was if there was like maybe a lull, and I don't mean that they're bad or anything, just that
Right.
just personal opinion here, and
Just
then
back burner.
maybe step their game up in this last album. Would you say that this last album was a departure from their sound, or does it sound different to you, or as a Machine Head expert, or does it all kind of sound like that?
So this is how I look at Machine Head in this new album, and it kind of, this is going to be a great like little tangent that I'm going to go off of.
Yeah,
this Machine Head album, and it explains so much, as we've talked about in previous episodes. I think as the bands get older, they mature so fucking well, and they only get better with age, and the same thing goes for us as listeners. I actually wanted to talk to you, going on after this, but like it will be a quick little explanation. I think it was Tuesday, I realized I fucking love Slayer. Now, what I mean by that is, as a teenager, they were meh.
Yeah.
I'm a 40-year-old man now, and Slayer is so pure, in my opinion.
Yep.
And I never would have thought that, but when you go back to re-listen to different musics, and that's what Machine Head is. Machine Head, and I have to get you albums, but Machine Head went from, and we'll just start from 2011, Into the Locust. Or you can go back to when 10 Ton Hammer was, which I can't think of that album, but that was, they've only gotten a little bit faster, a little bit harder, and a little bit more aggressive with their vocals. But it's not a big difference. It's just slight little changes that they make.
Incremental changes. Yeah.
It is so impactful to the point where you're like, this new album is like probably their best out. I haven't even heard the whole full album.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I was floored by it. I honestly, it made me embarrassed that I hadn't been listening to them. That honestly, it was that good to me when I was listening to it. I was like, man, this thing is good from like start to finish. Like I've listened to it a couple times now, and I know they had what was their first single off of it? It was that the Hate, what is it?
Yeah. I'm looking this up. Kill some time.
Well, that song in particular, because it's got that really fast tempo drum beat, and see, I love that style a lot. Like where it's really fast, really aggressive, and the vocals sounded amazing on this. And I'm not sure how to perfectly explain it, but it's so polished and it's so like it just really spoke to me. Like for example, the last Sepultura album did. I put those two albums are very similar in my mind, and that really is why I'm wondering if Machine Head did the same thing Sepultura did for me, is that they were kind of on the back burner and then just released a banger of an album out of nowhere. Have they always had the same drummer? Do you know?
I believe they have. Yes.
Really?
I will double check that, but I believe there's been no changes.
I've got to do a little more research on them, honestly. Since I just saw them and they were awesome. I should have done it before I went to the concert. Honestly, I'm a big slacker.
I mean, I'm right there with you. I probably should have done it too, because Carthus, that one, no. So there's so many good stuff out here. So many damn good albums.
There is a festival coming to Florida that is at
Daytona Beach.
Yeah. I don't have tickets yet. I got to figure out how to do it without it being like a miserable, hot, like terrible experience. Since now I'm old and I got money now, so I don't have to suffer through a concert. I can just have a positive experience. Like if I have to rent a camper or something like that, I'll get a nice one, or whatever, with air conditioning.
Hell yeah.
And
yeah. Well, I think it's in May, isn't it?
It's in May, which is risky for Florida. Like May in Florida could be 105 degrees.
It could be, or it could be like 82.
Yeah. It could be amazing. But
yeah, exactly.
The lineup is amazing. Like Pantera, Tool.
Yeah.
It's like so many bands. Like I if I were to read this whole list, it would take 10
It'd take
minutes
a
to get
while.
through it. But there's so many bands that I like. I don't usually particularly care for festival settings because they
Right.
they only give the bands 45 minutes on the stage before they're swapping them out with another band to get through them all. But having this many good bands there, I think, is really gonna be cool. So I'm gonna try to make it out to that one for sure. I know we haven't bought any tickets or anything yet, but that one's gonna happen.
My little brother sent me the
Yeah.
headlines. Oh my god, it is awesome.
I mean, the lineup is out of control.
So of Kingdom and Something is the album from the newest Machine Head
Yep.
album. I'm trying to load it up as we speak. Oh, of Kingdom and Crown.
Yeah, that's the one. That's it.
And so the Burning Red, the Blacken. If you want to go back to do your homework, start with the Blacken. That was a really really good
Okay.
album. And then you go into the Locust, the Bloodstone. That was a decent one, but it's a rarity in my opinion to find bands where
yeah.
you're like, man, every single song is
Mhm.
a banger.
Yeah. Even my favorite band, Metallica, now they have
Right.
different eras now. There's a whole bunch of stuff by them that I don't like.
Yep.
And and for a while, up until say 93 or whatever, I liked everything that they did. So, and then I was like, load and reload. They cut their hair. It's like a bunch of posers, whatever. I was one of those assholes. I was like, I'm never
Yeah.
cutting my hair, and then my hair fell out. So I was like, well, God made me cut my hair. So
I was one of those assholes too.
Yep.
I was not happy about it.
yeah, I was pissed. I was like, no, Metallica, that's like my identity. What the hell? You can't fucking take it away from me. This sucks. So there was that. Then there was Megadeth to fill in. I was like, oh, Megadeth's still cool. They're gonna be awesome. Oh shit! Did Marty Friedman just quit? What the hell's this? Oh, now Megadeth's all weird. Damn it. Slayer's still gonna stay cool. It's like Slayer stayed kind of cool.
Slayer, yeah.
Yep.
I want to go back to that conversation. I was amazed, how much I enjoyed them even more now.
Do you have any favorites or any particular albums you went back and checked out or anything like that?
So, go back to the
Oh, did I lose your vocals there?
Did you?
Maybe. Did you unplug your mic? Technical difficulties. Bear with us, international audience. Don't worry. This won't happen if you're a Patreon subscriber.
We would be so much better. Are we good?
No, you sound like you're in the background. What we could do is we could stop this now and then do a Slayer themed podcast. You want to do that?
Oh yeah,
nope,
let's
you're
do
back.
that.
You're back. You want to talk about Slayer for 2 minutes?
No, we're good.
Okay. We can
do
stop it here.
We'll come back.
We're at almost 20 minutes, so we can stop it
Yeah.
here. All right.
We'll stop because we'll go. I do want to talk more about Slayer at a later episode. And I'm just so happy as a brother of yours, as a fan of music, that you finally have found your love for Machine Head.
Yeah,
And
dude. Yep.
To do one quick note, because I've been wanting to say it, you had brought me back into Sepultura.
Oh, cool.
We definitely had differences. I loved the Chaos AD album.
Yeah.
I thought it was probably their best work.
Yeah,
Max
that was
Cavalera.
their best before this new album, I think.
Right.
Yep.
I didn't think they were ever going to be able to replace Max, but man,
Yeah, it's been the same vocalist, and he
Right.
stepped his game up so much in that last album, man. Like he sounds
Yes.
like a heavier Chuck Billy almost. Like he sounds so good.
it's so good.
It's
and
so good.
add in the drummer, the 19-year-old kid, 21-year-old
Yeah.
kid, whatever he is. That it's just
It
It's a
breathed
whole nother
life
band.
into him, man. Like, it was like a kick in the pants, and
yeah. So it is it's refreshing.
yeah,
And I'm so glad you enjoyed. A 3-hour show is just
Awesome.
fucking epic.
yeah, so good.
Like,
so good.
I'm so happy to hear that. So, to our international audience, quick rundown. Machine Head is fantastic. Make sure you listen to them.
Yes.
And check out the new Sepultura too. Like that's a little shout out because their
Yeah.
newest album is a banger.
It's so good. I think it's called Quadra. It came out, probably about 3 years ago now, but
I think it was, yeah.
it's really good.
So this will be us signing off. We don't have a goodbye thing, so just peace. And we'll do that.
Peace. All right.